Hello, friends. I'm Brian, and this is Gizmo Board Games. Today, I am bringing you a top 10 list that was a suggestion from from a friend in one of the movie forums or discords I frequent when I was just reaching out for people who I knew who played some games, but maybe aren't necessarily in the hobby following these videos. I don't remember who exactly sent me this idea, so I can't specifically shout them out. But if you're watching, thanks for the idea. But basically, what the idea is, if you didn't read the thumbnail and the title, is my favorite short games. And the way I define short games is basically games that from the time we decide to pull it off the shelf, we can set it up, get it played in about a half hour's time. That was kind of my mark for what I considered a short game. So I'm including setup in that time as well. So even if the gameplay is short, but it takes forever to set up, I kind of left those off the list. And so you're going to notice kind of a trend of small box games and things like that in this one. But that's to be expected. And these are kind of the games that I would think about pulling off to kill that last half hour of the game night or the first half hour while we're waiting for more people to show up. And I have used some of these before to do exactly that. Or if you just want to pull something out because you've got like time to kill in an airport or whatever, these will work for that too. Anyway, without any further ado, let's go ahead and these are in a top 10 order, but kind of just based on how I felt like ranking them at the time. I didn't do anything special and really dive into why one's ranked 10, one's ranked 1. And there are some honorable mentions I kind of left off the list uh, just to try to create a little bit of variety in the style of games. So like, I try not to have a bunch of 2-player games or solo games. Solo games generally play quicker anyway. But I did want to include, a couple or one or two of each. But also wanted to make sure I included some multiplayer games as well and try to just get variety in so they weren't all just card games. Anyway, enough explaining. My number 10 is going to be Point City. Point City is that 1 to 4 player game that plays kind of like Splendor, and Splendor could have been on this list too. I don't own it. I don't play it that much. But the Splendor style game I do own is that Point City, in that you've got a tableau of cards and you're going to draft them out into your own tableau and build them up. And you got to you're basically getting them for the resources and then discarding it, or you're buying it with your resources that you have and then building up your tableau of permanent capabilities. And Point Salad's kind of similar. Propolis I just got is ish similar by the same company, but different enough because it's got some worker placement stuff in it too. The reason I picked Point City over Point Salad, and I haven't played Point Galaxies, which is the newest one. I'm not sure if that's reached backers yet. Is just because there's that extra little bit that's different from Point Salad in that it's got some gold cards, gold chips, I guess, that you're actually using to add to your score as well. So you're not just building up your tableau and trying to get the most points, but you're also trying to race towards some of these goal tokens too, so that way you can build up more in-game scoring with those. Point City, I feel like set up, and hopefully you're not teaching it, but it should take in that half-hour range. It's been a while since I've played it. My number 9 is a game I just recently played, and I was killing time in the airport, and we got 3 games in around an hour's time, and that is Sail. This is a 2-player cooperative game, trick-taking style. Basically, it's a lead a suit, follow suit, match some icons, and you're trying to sail a ship to basically an end goal and far enough to meet some mid-game objectives. But you've got so long to advance your ship, and you're basically laying cards, following suit, and matching icons that are going to help or hinder you based on how they match up. And if you can't match those icons, then basically it's almost a wasted round. So you really got to work together, but you can't even communicate other than what you're laying down. There's a little bit of player powers, and a new legacy version just came out as well. Sail, I just thought was a really interesting 2-player cooperative game with trick taking in it. And so you'll see some of these themes come back over this list as we move on. My number 8 game, I only played one time. I really enjoyed it. It's another 2-player game, but it's not cooperative. It's a tile laying game, and tile drafting game. It is Patchwork. Patchwork is an Uwe Rosenberg game, I believe is the designer. Against 2-player, and you're building up this quilt, and you're collecting buttons, and the quilt layout and everything are going to add to the points. And basically, whatever you don't draft, because you got a circle of tiles are available to your opponent. Whoever's the furthest back can take turns. You're spending buttons as time, I believe, or as action points. I don't remember exactly how it goes, but I know it's kind of, you don't want to move too far advanced because you're going to give your opponent a bunch of options around you. But you do want to make sure you're getting the tiles you really want and need to build up your quilt and score the most points. Great little thinky 2-player game. The opposite of Sail in that this is definitely not cooperative. It's a challenging game. My number 7 is going to be the one strictly solo game I added to this list. It is Maquis. Not my favorite solo game. That would be Final Girl, but Final Girl with setup and play. It's a chunky bunch of stuff. It's going to take probably more than a half hour, or it could take a half hour. But I'm going with Maquis. I like Maquis. It is a game where you're kind of placing workers out one at a time, and in between your placement of workers, you're going to flip over kind of an enemy deck, and they're going to place out the bad guys that are chasing you because you are spies going around, I believe it's the 1940s Paris. And you're trying to achieve objectives, and those objectives require you to go to certain points and with certain resources a certain number of times. So you really got to work yourself around this board, and you got to make sure you've got a path get back to your hideout. Otherwise, you're going to get caught. And if you get caught too many times, you're going to lose all your workers, because each time a worker gets caught, you lose a worker. And so it's just a fun little puzzly worker placement style game for 1-player, and nice small box. Take it with you. Play it real quick. A lot of fun. That is Maquis. My number 6 game is a game I haven't played in quite a while, but I think it fits the bill for 30 minutes or so. It's just a deck of cards. If you have the basic Sushi Go, I have Sushi Go Party, a little bit more, but it's the same gist. You've got basically the goal or points for the cards, and it's basically a game where everybody starts with a hand of cards. You're going to pick one to play and then pass the rest, pick one to play, pass the rest. And then at the end of each round, you're going to count up basically your scoring for either sets or unique or most or less or whatever the points are. And so you're just playing through basically a draft and pass, and trying to score points based on your sushi layout and the scoring requirements for the game. And then you're going to do that over 3 rounds, and then whoever scores the highest points after the 3rd round wins. And I've always enjoyed Sushi Go, and this is one I believe plays up to 8 or something like that, or at least maybe the party does. So one of those quick playing games that allows a lot more people in, and that was why it's my choice to be on this list. Another quick playing game that plays up to a good amount of people, another newer game is Flip 7. Flip 7 is another deck card, so you can pocket and take it anywhere with you. And in this game, you're just kind of pushing your luck, trying to not match numbers of card in your layout. The cards are numbered 1 through 12 with a few special cards that do various things as well, such as doubling your score or adding to your score or whatever. And in this game, you just want to score up to, I think, 500. The first one to score to 500, I believe, is the count, wins. So you want to score as much as you can each round, basically, to try to win the game. But you also don't want to match cards, because they're number 1 through 12. There's 1 card, 2 cards, 3 cards, 12 cards, etc. So every time you get a turn, you're flipping over a card and then hoping it doesn't match a card you already have in your hand. If it does, you are out of the round, scoring 0 points. So it's just a lot of fun, a lot of quick, easy, push your luck card game that can be played with people pretty much any age as well. So Flip 7, a really good card game, came out in this past year as well. All right, now we're getting into the games that you've probably heard me talk about quite a bit on my top 50 lists, or at least honorable mentions or lists of the past. So these are the games I really do enjoy and do bring to the table a lot. Starting with my number 4, which is my favorite party game. So this one, I think, supports 7 or 8 9 maybe. It is Bang the Dice Game. In Bang the Dice Game, basically you've got a roll that is pretty much a hidden roll, except for the sheriff. So the sheriff will be a known roll, and then you've got deputies, renegades, and outlaws for everybody else, and those are going to be hidden rolls. And then you're rolling dice and basically shooting at each other, or having Indians shoot at you, or you can heal each other depending on your dice rolls. And you're doing it Yahtzee style. It's 5 dice, or is it 6 dice? Whatever, that you're rolling up to 3 times. You can save whichever ones you want, and that whenever you decide you're done rolling, or at the end of the 3rd dice roll, you're going to basically distribute your rolls, whether it's shooting your opponents or healing people, or etc. But basically, you're playing on teams without knowing who the teams are until you kind of deduce them. And deputies and sheriffs, basically, their goal is just to keep the sheriff alive for the outlaws and renegades to die. The outlaws win if the sheriff dies, and then the renegade wins if they are the last one standing. So just a lot of fun. I really do enjoy Bang the Dice Game. It's my favorite, big group party style, just goofiness game. My number 3 game is a game that I really, really enjoy. It just got re-released, I think, with an American copy here in the U.S., or is getting one. It's Rumble Nation. Rumble Nation is a 2-phase game of area control. In the first phase, you're rolling 3 dice, and one of them is going to determine the number of, cubes you're going to put on the zone of the combo of the other 2 dice. So basically, there's zones 2 through 12, and then you're going to place 1, 2, or 3 cubes into one of those zones based on your die roll. So if I rolled like a 2, a 6, and a 5, I could place, combine the 6 and the 5 together and go to zone 11 with 1 cube from my 2, or I could place like the 2 and the 5 together and go to zone 7 with 3 cubes from the 6. And then once everybody has all their cubes on the board, and then you're going to start in zone 2 and basically do area control. And whoever wins that area gets the 2 points for that zone. Whoever comes in second place, if there's anybody, would get half of that, so 1 point. But the neat thing about this game is then whoever won that zone will place kind of a neutral cube in reinforcing all the neighboring zones to that zone. So you really want to set yourself up for some cascading zone wins, and that's the best way to get points. A lot of fun, plays relatively quick. It might be a little over a half hour, depending on how long it takes you to get your cubes out and to conduct that second phase, but it's going to be pretty close. It plays pretty quick. I've used Rumble Nation to kill some time rather quickly as a filler game in the past. Another one that plays to 4 people. This one doesn't have a solo mode for kind of obvious reasons, I think. Really enjoyable. I do enjoy Rumble Nation. It's been in my top 50, I think, all 3 years I've done it. My number 2 has been in my top 10 in the past. It's fallen out of late, mostly because it doesn't get played a whole lot, because unfortunately, this is a game that can fall into group speak, because it's supposed to be a no-talk game, but you start to learn a language with certain groups, and kind of makes it easier and therefore not as exciting. But Hanabi, I really enjoy Hanabi. It's a cooperative game, 2 to 4 people, or maybe it's 5 people. I think it was 5. 2 to 5 people, where you've got cards in your hand that you don't see, everybody else sees them, so you're facing your cards towards everybody else. And then you've got a certain number of clues to give each other, but you're trying to build up these 5 colored stacks, 1 to 5, to get as many points as you can. If all 5 stacks get up to number 5 successfully, you score 25 points and you're the best ever. But if you play wrong at any point, you basically explode, and if you explode 3 times, the game is over, and you count your points at that time. Also, you can accidentally discard, cards, because there's only so many clues or so many ways to interpret, because you can only give clues about either the color or the number of every card in somebody's hand that matches that clue. So sometimes you want to give a clue about the 3 that they need to play, but they've got 3 threes in their hand, and they've got like 3 blue cards as well, and you're like, I really need them to play the blue 3, but I have to say these 3 are all 3s, or these 3 are all blue, and it's up to them to read into it, or you might need to combo clues together, and you might not have those clues available. Just a lot of fun. I really enjoy playing Hanabi a few times in a row, and then putting it away for a while. Just because after play one, you kind of discuss like, well, I meant this and this meant this, and then, like I said, you kind of grow a language as it plays. But I still really enjoy playing Hanabi, and especially introducing it to new groups, because again, like I said, you get kind of group talk if you play with the same people. And finally, the one I put at number one, again, a lot of these could float, just depend on my mood and what I feel like playing at the time, or especially depending on the group. But this is the final 2-player cooperative game, one game of the year a year or two ago at Essen, and it is SkyTeam. SkyTeam is a cooperative pilot game where you are rolling dice and then putting them into the required things to land the plane. And those things involve getting planes out of your way, making sure you're lined up on the runway level, you're at the right speed, you've got all your flaps set, you got your gear down, things like that. And it's all based on taking turns placing dice onto this board. And then there's a bunch of variations in the board that add even more complexity and different little effects into the game itself. Just a lot of fun. I really enjoy playing SkyTeam. Another one that's quick, cooperative, 2 players. And that's why it's my number one on this list. Let me know in the comments below those quick games I missed. They might have been on my short list, or I might have not played them, or I might have just completely forgot about it because I did just kind of scroll through kind of my collection in my played games to throw something together. But I appreciate the suggestion. I really did enjoy making this list because this isn't normally my style of game. If you know me, I'm definitely more of a heavy Euro player. But if I were to play some short kind of filler games, these are the ones I kind of gravitate to. And so enjoyable to think about that, put this list together. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Subscribe below to see more of my videos. I try to get a video out every week. So I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.